Und ja, wir schauen einfach mal. Aber zuerst Higurashi. Kurzen Moment. Da ist es. So. Apropos Higurashi, ich habe jetzt doch angefangen, die Kai-Episoden zu schauen, also die zweite Staffel sozusagen, mit den Antwortkapiteln und so weiter. Ich bin jetzt aktuell, ich glaube, bei der 14, oder Moment, ich habe 14 von 24 Folgen bisher schon geschaut. Heißt, ich muss noch 10 Folgen schauen, dann bin ich mit der zweiten Staffel auch durch. Und man lernt auf jeden Fall einiges dazu, was da überhaupt so ein bisschen passiert auch noch und so. So ganz habe ich es noch nicht verstanden, aber ich hoffe mal, ich habe es soweit verstanden, wenn ich dann die Staffel durchgeschaut habe. Aber es ist auf jeden Fall sehr interessant. Und da ist auch ein neuer Charakter, von dem ich, schon was weiß, das in der Staffel noch nicht, oder halt was bisher noch nicht erzählt wurde. Ähm, Einfach einerseits aus logischem Zusammendenken von verschiedenen Tatsachen und weil ich jemanden gefragt habe, ob das so stimmt, der sich damit schon auskennt, mit dem ganzen Higurashi-Zeug. Aber das kommt alles noch in den Visual Novels oder wenn ihr selbst die Dings, Kai-Folgen und so weiter schaut. Das ist auf jeden Fall sehr zu empfehlen. Sehr interessantes Zeug, was da alles passiert. Und ich habe inzwischen durch die Kai-Episoden einen Charakter, den ich eigentlich ganz okay fand oder neutral gegenüberstand, mag ich nicht mehr aus Higurashi, weil in Kai gezeigt wird, dass diese Person doch nicht ganz so nett ist. Und ja. Aber das kommt in der Visual Novel alles noch später. Irgendwann. Bestimmt. So. Near the end of the Meiji Era. Wo sind wir jetzt eigentlich? Okay, Textlog haben wir noch nix. Also wir sind, glaube ich, gerade noch irgendwie so, dass... Wie heißen die beiden? Takano und T. Irgendwas auch noch was mit T. Also Mio und der andere Fotograf-Typ da. Wir sind jetzt da eingebrochen in den Schrein und erzählen ein bisschen was, beziehungsweise Mio hat ein bisschen was zu ihrem Zeug erzählt, was da ist mit den ganzen Folterinstrumenten und was die Leute früher in Hinamizawa gemacht haben, beziehungsweise was da so mit den Dämonen und so weiter war. Und ja, ich glaube, wir sind noch da irgendwie. Irgendwo. Schauen wir einfach mal. So, near the end of the Meiji era, in old Onigafuji village, a mangled corpse was discovered. The identity of the corpse was unknown. It wasn't even in a state where it could be identified in the first place. It was missing a head, and each limb was separated from the body. Skin had been peeled off the entire body, and there were markings that implied terrible torture in every place imaginable. Not only that, but the belly had been cut open by a sharp knife, with the entrails completely dragged out. The police immediately began an investigation, but since they couldn't even determine the identity of the victim, much less the criminal, finding answers was extremely difficult. Do you understand what it must have been like? I couldn't imagine such a strange sight, even if I tried. This was the first time I was ever thankful for my lack of imagination. The victim was skinned while still alive, underwent all kinds of torture and was killed brutally. The author here also thinks that even after death, the remains were divided and dissected even further, the epitome of inhumanity. I'm of the opinion that the entire process was performed while the person was still alive, though. What do you think, my Barakun? She spoke in a way intended to make me imagine even more vicious things. As my brain was already far over capacity, however, there was no way I could imagine anything more brutal. Then when I broke my gaze from Takano-san's, those strangely shaped weird tools were all around us. I wonder if you could faithfully reproduce the mutilated corpse discovered at the end of the Meiji era with the tools found in this place. I want to deny it. I don't want to admit that something so terrible could have happened at all. Even though they were so strange, so terrifying, these tools, and as if they had seen through my attempt to escape from them, they did nothing but ridicule me silently. So, that creepy incident, what was it in the end? The author says that regarding Onikafuji Village's dreadful customs, they've survived into recent post-Meiji days, and that perhaps they lasted until around the beginning of the Showa period. This corpse, which at a glance had been brutally killed after a period of torture. In actuality, however, it was the pitiful sacrificial remains of the man-eater's terrifying feast. The corpse was just leftovers. It was so fantastic, so strange that it didn't feel real. Was this an extension of the legends too? It happened in the Meiji era though, which is just too recent to be called a legend. Also, there's a newspaper clipping right here suggesting it. Okay, but even if it really happened, it was a long time ago, right? I mean, the Meiji era ended 100 years ago. That's all. Only 100 years ago. Besides, it kept happening even after the beginning of the Showa period. Like with the uproar around the post-war canned flesh incident. Oh, I apologize. That story was taboo, wasn't it? Takano-san immediately stopped talking as if worried about Shion. Shion briefly looked somewhat angry, but that expression soon disappeared. Huh? Takano-san, what did you just say? Canned flesh? Then, just then, there was a huge creaking noise. Everyone whipped around to look. It was Tomitake was. Takano and Tomitake. It was Tomitake-san who had opened the door slightly. Ah, ha, ha, ha. Did I startle you? Oh, Jiro-san, could you not resist seeing inside? There's a splendid treasure trove of torture devices. I'll pass on that. Ah, ha, ha, ha. I'm bad with this sort of thing by nature. Takano-san held her stomach and had to muffle her laughter, as if she wanted to make a comment about his masculinity. In any case, the dance and ceremony are over, and everyone's going down to the stream. The festival will be over within minutes. Oh, that's not good. My Barakun is just such a good listener that I couldn't help telling stories. I'd really rather you not mention me in a place like this. Jiro-san, could you wait out front? I want to take a few pictures. There are actually a lot of tools I'd like to bring home, but we obviously can't do that. Takano-san took camera out of her paper bag and began to snap photographs. She looked like she was having fun, like she was on a scavenger hunt. Keiichi-kun, are you leaving too? I've seen enough. Shion, you're good too, right? Let's get out of here. I want some fresh air. I agree. Let's leave. I did feel a bit of hesitation at leaving Takano-san by herself in this darkness. When I thought about it, though, I realized that whatever kinds of evil spirits and ghosts lurked in the darkness, none of them could hold a candle to how scary she was. Even if a phantasm were to appear, she'd be overjoyed and flash her camera at it. It seemed like Shion shared my somewhat rude mental images. We exchanged glances and smiled painfully. We left Takano-san there, bathed in her strobe of camera flashes, and decided to go leave the ritual storehouse. Everyone at the festival seemed to have gone to the stream, so their voices were very distant. The voices of the bugs, on the other hand, were clear, lending an empty feeling of isolation to the place. How was it? Interesting? Tomitake-san gave us a somewhat mischievous grin. He should have been able to tell by looking at how pale our faces were. I should not have kept watch outside with you, Tomitake. I should have kept watch outside with you, Tomitake-san. Tomitake-san laughed so delightfully that it whipped away our dark feelings. How would you fare, Shion-chan? Were you scared? I was prepared for it, so I wasn't too afraid, but seeing the real thing was powerful. Shion spoke like she wasn't scared at all. She really had been quite afraid, but seeing as how I was in way worse a state than her, I didn't have much room to talk. As Tomitake-san grinned candidly, my mind, exhausted and looked up by nervousness, began to calm itself. Was Takano-san an adult about this little expedition? You know how she seems like a child sometimes. I was worried she'd be way too excited. Both Shion and I laughed and left that as our answer. Hopefully she was only looking at things. I'm worried she'll sneak something out of there, or mess with a ritual, implement too much and break it or something. Right, that's quite possible. She's alone in there right now. She might pilfer something small and easily concealed, hiding it in her pocket. Ah, yeah, I can see that. Shion said what I was thinking. Yeah, sure she didn't break anything. I could clearly hear some noises like someone jumping up and down. I was getting pretty nervous. I'm sorry, I ran out of film. Jiro-san, if you have any more, could I use them? Takano-san suddenly appeared while we were talking about her, taking everyone by surprise. Tomitake-san smoothly grinned and responded as if nothing had happened. He's pretty mature. Ah, ha ha ha. I'm all out of spare film, sorry about that. Jeez, you won't win any Pulitzer prizes by not stocking up enough film for any occasion, you know. I suppose that's it then. Tomitake-san scratched his head apologetically. Without film, we're done here. Takano-san seemed to have given up because of that too. We checked carefully to make sure we hadn't left anything inside, then closed the door and turned to the heavy padlock we'd left beside it. Takano-san, you didn't sneak anything out, right? How rude. I'm trying not to be that childish. Clack. Tomitake set the padlock back to the way it was before. From a curiosity glance, it didn't look like thieves had snuck in at all. Okay. Let's get over to the stream ourselves. If we don't at least set some cotton afloat, there won't be any point in coming to the festival. Tomitake-san spoke brightly, urging us all on, setting cotton afloat down the stream. I shake my head a few times, driving away my dismal thoughts as to the double meaning. Takano-san, looking a little let down, kept turning back to glance at the ritual storehouse. Let's just leave it at that, alright? You saw enough to sate your curiosity, didn't you? Oh, not at all. Everything I found only renewed my interests. All those stories and legends suddenly hold water. After today, I'm going to have to change the way I look at all this. Oh, she's truly indomitable. Her curiosity really is something else. Still interested in all this, through and through. We descended the stone stairs, and all the people crowding the stream came into view. Near the bottom of the stairs, we could clearly see people receiving cotton that had been cut out for them, then wishing upon the cotton and setting it afloat down the stream. The festival was already over. Damn! I missed my chance to photograph the best part of Watanagashi. Oh, but it's not too late. I'm going to go and set some afloat. Perhaps you could take pictures of me? Takano-san, with an impish expression, brought her head to Tomitake-san's shoulder. Despite his age, he looked embarrassed. I felt an honest respect for Tomitake-san, man to man, for dating such a handful of a woman. Goodbye then, my Baru-kun. Shion-chan. We're going down to the stream. Would you like to come with us? No, I couldn't get in your way. Please take your time. Shion waved her hand to them with an expression just as impish as Takano-san's. Tomitake-san on his part seemed to want us to come, but whatever. Shion gave a big stretch and sat down on the stone steps. Hehehe, I'm pretty worn out. Same here, I'm exhausted too. Kei-chan, this is your first Watanagashi, isn't it? You go on, don't mind me. I'm tired, so I'd like to stay away from the crowd. Yeah, if we were to go now, we'd barely slip into the end of the cotton drifting ceremony. My sister and your other friends might be looking for you too. Go on. Oh, yeah, right. They've been by themselves ever since we got separated. I'd feel bad if they were looking for me. Then Shion suddenly got a playful look on her face, then put her index finger to her lips as if telling me to keep this a secret. My sister is the type that gets really jealous. If she knew I was hogging you this whole time, she'd never let me hear the end of it. So keep tonight a secret, okay? Keep tonight a secret. Don't say things that are so embarrassing. Not only because of that either. Considering what we were doing tonight, we really need to keep it secret. Oyashiro-sama's curse might happen tonight, and we four would be the prime candidates. The loosening threads of tension became taut again. Shion, however, burst out laughing. Alright, I'm going to get out of here before I run into my sister. I really am tired, so I don't have the endurance to put up with her anyway. I can't tell if you get along with her or not. We get along. Though as she said that, her vague expression explained that there are a lot of oddities in a relationship between twins. I'm an only child, so I don't really get it. Make sure you get along with her, okay? Right. Thank you kindly for your meddling. Okay, I'm gonna go. You should hurry up if you want to make it, Kei-chan. But Watanagashi really is about to end. Shion stood up and brushed the dust off her backside. After watching her do so, I returned to my eyes to the final ceremony of the Watanagashi festival below me. Seriously though, what was that sound anyway? It was kind of unpleasant and creepy. Huh? What sound? The sound. You know, the banging noise. It was really loud, wasn't it? I was giving her a blank expression, so Shion stared hard at me. I stared hard at her too. Sorry, Shion. Could you give me the short version? What was making noise? Wait, Kei-chan. It didn't bother you? When all's said and done, it was like we were speaking two different languages. Shion, explaining to me without jokes from the beginning, will you? What's this about a noise? Kei-chan, you quit joking around too. Really, honestly, it didn't bother you? Neither of us was giving any ground, and both of us were staring at the other in disbelief. We were answering questions with more questions, with no sign of an actual conversation in sight. Baffled, I held in the urge to shout at her, and asked politely one more time. I'm going to ask one more time, okay? I'll ask the questions. She nodded silently. Okay, here goes. You said there was a sound. What are you talking about? The banging sound. It was like a kid was jumping up and down on floorboards somewhere far away. It really didn't bother you? There was nothing to be bothered by. When did you hear this? I never heard anything. Wait, Kei-chan, are you serious? Shion, as if she didn't understand my plain and simple answer, pressed me further, her expression serious. I have no clue what she's talking about, but if it was Shion acting so like this, whatever it was, it gave me the creeps and sent a chill down my spine. It was while we were looking around the inside of the ritual storehouse with Takano-san, about the time she started her stories, I think it was. Little by little, louder and louder. Off and on. Ich glaube, ich weiß sogar, was die meint. Nur ich sag's nicht. Weil das wär Spoiler. So, she heard a banging sound like a child jumping on distant floorboards. That can't be true. Don't start trying to scare me after all that. I didn't hear anything at all. In fact, it was so utterly silent in there that my own heartbeat was almost deafening. Please don't try to scare me either, Kei-chan. It was like something was making noise in time with Takano-san's scary stories, and I was totally creeped out the whole time. The chill rose from my spine to the back of my head. My blood turned cold as it crawled up my body. When it reached my head, my mind froze over. You and Takano-san weren't paying any attention to it at all, so I pretended not to hear it either, but you heard it, right? It happened a bunch of times, and it was really loud. Shion's eyes were begging me to tell her I heard it. I had no doubt, however, that my own eyes suggested something entirely different. You've gotta be kidding, look. In that storehouse, we were surrounded by brutal ritual tools that looked like they were from another planet, listening to terrifying old stories. The whole time, Shion had been hearing a sound that we couldn't hear by herself. Should that make Shion, who heard it, tremble, or should it make me, who didn't hear it, tremble? I didn't know the answer to that at the time. For now, Shion seemed to have made that decision before I did. What are you laughing about? I really got you, Kei-chan. I was fibbing the whole time. What? Shion laughed, saying how easily scared I was, and clapped me on the back. Her smile seemed somehow artificial and actually made me feel worse. Ich glaub, Shion tut jetzt nur so. Ich glaub, die hat tatsächlich was gehört. So, then after leaving me with 2 or 3 generic diplomatic goodbye phrases, she left almost like she was running away. All I could do was look after her, my mouth agape. At the end of the day, I didn't have a clue what was going on. Jion laughed it off and said she had been lying, but she couldn't possibly have been lying. Of course not. And now that I think back, Tomitake-san said the same thing, didn't he? I could clearly hear some noises, like someone jumping up and down. I was getting pretty nervous. Tomitake-san, the most neutral party present at the time, had said he'd heard something. Then that noise, it was real. Banging sounds. Sounds as though a child was jumping up and down on some kind of floorboards far away. Where Shirosama's curse, which happens every year, might happen again tonight. The most plausible victim candidates were Takano-san, Tomitake-san, Shion, and me. The bustling of the people sounded further away than I would have liked, and the sounds of the insects sounded too close for comfort. I'm near so much human warmth, and yet I can't ever go back there again. That was the ominous idea that sprouted in my mind. Then, all of a sudden, I was pounced on from behind, causing my heart to lurch. Bestimmt Rika. Ah, ich hab's gesagt! Keiichi, we found you! It was Rika-chan. When I turned around, Mion and Reina were there too. Mion sighed and said, "We finally found you. Now we just need to find Satoko. Everyone got split up this year. We should make sure we have somewhere to meet up afterwards next year. Aww. You're right, it's a festival, so we should all be together." I listened to Mion's happy declaration with a little bit of guilt. Keiichi, did you root for me while I was dancing? Ah, yeah, I saw it all. You did a great job all the way through. No mistakes either. Yeah, that's right, Rika-chan. That didn't count as a mistake. I tensed up as I realized I'd made a mistake of my own. Mion slapped a hand onto my shoulder a little roughly. A gross sweat broke out over my whole body. Did you do it too, Kei-chan? Did you get some cotton and send it down the stream? You haven't yet, right? Is what I could feel her saying. Without the courage to tell any more lies, I lifelessly shook my head. Huh? You haven't, Keiichi-kun? You should go now, or it'll be over. It'll be over! Sorry, this is my first Watanagashi, so I don't really understand the rules and stuff. That's right, I'm sorry. Mion took my hand and we started walking down the stone steps. Hey, Kei-chan. What? Did you see Shion? My heart skipped another beat. Maybe Mion could sense my surprise through my hand. No. Oh, well. I sort of think I saw her. You two look so alike, though, so it might have been you. You wouldn't have gotten that wrong. We're wearing different clothes. Huh? Oh, that's right. Mion's momentary silence was like a death grip upon me. I just can't do anything about that, Shion. Well, it's her we're talking about, so we can just leave her be. Mion's expression returned to her former, usual smile, and we continued down the stone steps, her firmly pulling my hand along. War's das? Ja, das war's. Okay. Ich weiß nicht, ob ich noch ein bisschen machen soll oder ob man jetzt schon zu was anderem machen, was anderes machen soll. Ist auch noch Kapitel zu Ende. Plumbing the Depths. Nee, nicht laden. Speichern. Ende vom Kapitel 7. Ich guck mal ganz kurz, wie es weitergeht. Ob es irgendwas... Great Big Yawn, go to sleep, breakfast, bla, bla, Shion. Ne, okay, nee. Ja, mach mal beim nächsten Mal. Machen wir beim nächsten Mal. Weiter. Ist sowieso nicht so besonders gut mit meinem Husten. Aber. Naja. So. Wir